Triplet girls told the single dad, "Our mom has the same tattoo as you." He was left speechless. Ryan had been a single dad for 3 years. 3 very long, very tiring, very beautiful years. He had 3 daughters, triplets, Lily, Zoe, and Ava. They were 6 years old, and they were, without question, the 3 best and most exhausting things that had ever happened to him. Every morning looked the same: pack 3 lunchboxes, tie 6 shoes, answer at least 40 questions before 8 a.m. Questions like, why is the sky blue? And why do worms come out when it rains? And Daddy, why don't you have a girlfriend? That last one came from Zoe. It always came from Zoe. Ryan did not have a good answer for Zoe. He dropped the girls off at school every morning at Pine Ridge Elementary, which smelled like crayons and hand sanitizer, and something else he could never quite identify. He signed the check-in sheet. He waved goodbye. He watched them run toward their classroom without looking back, the way kids do when they are completely sure they are loved. He had a tattoo on his left forearm, a small compass, 4 points, no words. He got it at 22, in a city he no longer lived in, on a day he no longer talked about. It was just there now, a part of him. He didn't think about it much anymore. That Tuesday in October started like every other Tuesday. He was late, which was normal. He signed the tardy slip, which was also normal. He walked the girls to their cubbies, which was normal too. But then Lily stopped walking. Lily was the one who noticed things. She noticed when the neighbor's cat was sitting in a different window than usual. She noticed when her sisters were sad before they even knew they were sad. She was 6 years old, and she saw the world like it was something to be carefully studied. She stopped walking and she pointed. There was a woman crouched near the cubbies, helping a little boy button his jacket. She was a teacher's aide. Dark hair, tied back. Her jacket sleeve was pushed up past her elbow, and on the inside of her left forearm, there was a tattoo, a small compass, 4 points, no words. "Daddy," Lily said, "that lady has your tattoo." Ryan did not move. Zoe leaned over and looked. She really does. Ava, who was usually the quietest of the 3, tilted her head the way she did when she was working something out. "Same one," she said, just like that. Same one. The woman had not looked up yet. She was still helping the boy with his jacket. Her forearm was facing the light from the hallway window, and the tattoo was right there, small, and exact, and impossible. Ryan told himself it was a coincidence. People get compass tattoos all the time. It was a popular design. It didn't mean anything. He told himself this while his feet stayed completely still on the floor. Here is what Ryan knew about his tattoo. He got it when he was 22, in Portland, at a shop called something he could barely remember now. He had moved to Portland for a year and a half, back when he was young and restless and thought that moving to a new city would solve whatever quiet problem he had inside himself. He had gotten the tattoo on a rainy afternoon. He had walked in without a plan. He had pointed at a design in the binder and said that one. The artist had asked if he was sure. He had said yes. He got it the day a girl named Nadia told him she was leaving. He had not said her name out loud in 9 years. The woman at the cubbies finished with the boy's jacket. She stood up slowly. She turned around. And Ryan's brain did that thing where it refuses, for just a second, to process what the eyes are clearly showing it. It was her. 9 years older. Hair a little shorter. But it was her. It was Nadia. She saw him at the same moment, and she went very, very still. They stood about 15 feet apart in the hallway of a primary school in Galveston, Texas, while children moved around them in every direction, completely unbothered, carrying backpacks and water bottles and the pure, beautiful chaos of being 6 years old. Lily, Zoe, and Ava looked at her, then at their father, then at her forearm, then at his. Zoe, who had no filter and never had, said, "Daddy, why do you look like you saw a ghost?" Neither Ryan nor Nadia said anything for what felt like a very long time. "We used to know each other," Nadia said finally. Her voice was the same. He had not expected her voice to be the same. "Yeah," Ryan said. That was all he managed. The bell rang. The hallway emptied. The girls ran to their classroom without looking back, because that is what children do when they feel safe. Ryan stood in the hallway with his hands in his jacket pockets, and Nadia stood a few feet away with her arms crossed, and they both looked at everything except each other. "I didn't know it was you," she said. "I took this job in September. I didn't know you were here." "I've been here 3 years," he said. I moved back 8 months ago. A pause, long enough to be uncomfortable. The little boy, Ryan said, is he yours? Yes. His name is Daniel. He's in first grade. She paused. Same class as your girls. That landed differently than he expected. He nodded slowly, the way you nod when you're processing something, but don't want to show how much you're processing it. They exchanged numbers, because they had to, because their children were in the same classroom, and they were going to see each other every single morning. It was the only logical thing to do. They were both adults. They both understood that life gets complicated sometimes, and the only way through it is to be decent about it. He drove to work with the radio off. That afternoon she texted him. She said, "I'm sorry. I should have said something when I realized Daniel and your daughters were in the same class. I looked up your number in the school directory 2 weeks ago. I didn't know how to start that conversation." He read the message, sitting in the parking lot of his office building. He read it 3 times. Then he typed, "Did you know it was me when you took the job?" She replied after a few minutes, "No, I promise I didn't." And here is the strange thing. He believed her immediately. He didn't have to think about it. He just believed her, the way you sometimes know something is true before you can explain why. Later he would try to describe this to his brother, who was naturally suspicious of everything and everyone, and his brother would look at him like he had lost his mind. But Ryan knew what he knew. That evening, after dinner, after bath time, after 2 stories and 1 glass of water, and 1 very long negotiation about whether the nightlight needed to stay on, Ryan sat on the back steps of his house and looked at his forearm. The compass was small and faded at the edges now. 9 years will do that. He was not a person who believed in signs. He was a practical man who packed lunches and paid bills and showed up when it mattered. He did not think the universe arranged things for people's benefit, but he sat there for a long time. He thought about the fact that Nadia had left Portland the same week he did, for different reasons, heading in different directions. He thought about the fact that they had both ended up back in the same city, the same small city where they had both grown up, without knowing about each other. He thought about the fact that her son and his daughters were in the same classroom, and had probably been sitting near each other since September, and neither of them had known. He thought about the tattoo. Both of them. Same shop, same design, same rainy city. 2 people who had been 22 and sad and pointing at a picture in a binder. He had never asked her if she had gotten one. He had not known. She had not known he had gotten one either. They had both walked in, alone, on their own bad days, and pointed at the same thing. He wasn't sure what to do with that. He texted her one last time before he went inside. He wrote, "The girls are having a birthday party in 3 weeks. Daniel is welcome if he wants to come." He watched the 3 little dots appear and disappear. Once, twice. Then her reply came, "We'll be there." He put his phone in his pocket. He went inside. He checked on the girls, all 3 of them asleep, tangled into each other the way they had been sleeping since they were babies, like they were still used to sharing a very small space. He stood in the doorway for a minute and watched them breathe. He didn't know what was coming. He didn't know if this was the beginning of something, or just a strange coincidence that would slowly become just another story he told at dinner parties someday. He didn't know if Nadia would be a part of their life, or just a friendly face at school drop-off. He didn't know a lot of things, but he knew that tomorrow morning he would pack 3 lunches, tie 6 shoes, and answer at least 40 questions before 8 a.m. He knew the hallway at Pine Ridge Elementary would smell like crayons and hand sanitizer. He knew his daughters would run to their classroom without looking back, because they were sure they were loved. And he knew that sometimes life puts things in front of you, not with a big dramatic sign, not with fireworks or music, or the kind of moment you see in movies. Sometimes it puts things in front of you quietly, in a school hallway on an ordinary Tuesday morning, in the shape of a tattoo on someone's forearm. Whether you notice it, that part is up to you.